Alrighty guys, so in today's video we are going to take a deep dive into my actual Tinder profile. So stick through to the end because there might be some counterintuitive tips that you'll uncover here, and then I'll try to go into the why behind them as well. So as you see here on the main screen, if a girl is scrolling through her Tinder stack, this is the first thing she'll see. So I'll just go screen by screen, break it down, and then show you some functionality of the app as well. So as you know, if you've been following me for a while, my name's Jaron Scott. My name is actually really easy to find here. So I use my last name Scott for my dating profiles. And then also no one can really say the soft English J in Spanish. So this just makes it a lot easier. If I have a girl hit me up on WhatsApp or drop into an Instagram DM and she addresses me by Scott, then I know that she was sourced through a dating app. If you followed the channel for a while, you know that I'm actually in my 30s. So years ago, I actually set this as a younger age. And the reason for that is a lot of girls will actually put their filters to cut off at 30. But now that I'm going more towards the way of 40, when my profile does hit its 30th year old birthday, I'll probably still leave it. This profile does very, very well for me. However, what you see here is the most optimized version of my profile. I've A/B tested a bunch of variables to get it to this point, so it'll serve the purpose of loading the top of that lead funnel in terms of sourcing digital dating app leads. So I have Scott29. Guys, if you're able to do this on your apps, I always suggest verifying them. And the reason is, especially in my case, is because I do have some pretty good photos there. And in the market where I'm physically located, a lot of girls think that this is a fake profile. So the verification does help to assuage any of those potential concerns. And then here's a big one too, guys. If you work with myself directly, we really work on this description area. I see most guys come through and they have too much filled out. It gets cut off in the preview. So you have to remember from the end user experience perspective, the girl is going through her stack a lot of times pretty passively if she doesn't have much going on. So the photo will do most of your heavy hitting. If you don't have professional photos yet, or if you don't have a fitness model looking type physique yet, that is absolutely fine. That's something I can help you with. But you do want to present your profile with your best foot forward. So photos is where it all starts. However, this description area is crucial as well. You don't want to give a life story. You don't want to make it too disengaging to the point where she doesn't really know what you're going to get. So again, remember, she's going through her stack. And then I think of it in terms of if you're on an e-commerce site like Amazon and you're looking for a camera charging cable, for example, you type in whatever the keyword is based on the model of the phone you have, and there's a bunch of listings there. So which one do you normally go on? You might sort by reviews. You might look at what Amazon's recommendation is. Typically, I'll sort by shipping dates or times, if I want it today, if I want it tomorrow, if you're a Prime member. So dating apps work in the same way. What gets you to actually click through? What piques your interest? Well, it's usually good product photos. It's usually proper descriptions. If there is a one-click buy box, that's a bonus. If it's same day or next day shipping, that's also a bonus. So think of it in this sense. A girl's going through her stack and she's looking for options, but for this description area, I think of it in terms of a product description or an offer or a call to action. So what mine says, loosely translated from Spanish, I'm looking for a cute girl for 420 snacks and snuggles. Aventuras actually means like adventures, but it is a double entendre. An aventura could also mean affair in Spanish, or more of a intimate type adventure, if you catch my drift. So I presented the offer. This háblame is just like, hit me up, talk to me. And the reason I mentioned the 420 is because I use that as kind of a cultural filter. She's a little more open, a little more open-minded to potentially be into casual dating if she has loose views on the 420 topic. And most of the time, the girls never bring it up, but that's worked really well for me. So there's a little tip for you there. And then Milo 180, that's in centimeters how tall I am. So I'm actually 5'11". In the imperial system. However, in the metric system, you'll see on a lot of girls' profiles, they'll ask specifically for guys to be 180 centimeters or 1.80 meters. So I actually am that in the metric system, right on the head. I am 180 centimeters, 1.80 meters. So if you look here, very little words, but every single thing I do on the profile serves a purpose. Then obviously this first picture here is a candid shirt off photo on the beach. Now, the reason I say candid is because if you do use shirt off photos, you don't want to make them try hardy. You also want to make sure that you have visible separation minimum in your abs, or you or that you at least have a fit or athletic looking physique. If you're on the line, if you're not sure, maybe if you're a little too pale, then you can skip the shirt off photos for now. Your profile definitely won't suffer if you don't use them, but if you do have them, it can actually benefit. And I change my profiles based on markets. So I live in Mexico City most of the year. This version of the profile is just my standard day-to-day profile that does fairly well collecting leads for me and then moving them through the funnel. If I were to go to Europe for the summer, and I've done this the last few summers, then I'll tweak this profile a bit depending upon where I'm going. Or if I'm going to, I was actually in Turkey last year, then any mention of 420, don't do that in those types of countries. So you can change your profile, and remember, at the end of the day, it's essentially kind of like an ad for you. So this is the first thing she sees when she comes to my profile. What most girls do, and the top video on my channel is actually short right now, and they're going through dating apps, she'll swipe right immediately if she thinks you're hot, or she'll swipe left immediately if she's not interested. And then if you're on the fence or on the cusp, then that's when she will do this. She will click through and look at your photos. If she is convinced by, let's say, photo 2 or 3, then she'll go ahead and swipe right or left. Very rarely, but it does happen, they will actually look through your profile, this metadata here. So for this next tip, I recommend, guys, leave your profiles incomplete. Don't fill a bunch of stuff out. And the reason is you don't want to give her reasons to disqualify you. So you see here, it basically just repeats what I have, my profile description, which is my offer and call to action, and then a little bit of metadata here that's repeatable if she actually opens up and expands a profile. I'm naturally bilingual, English and Spanish. I do have some basics on here. I haven't seen reason to take these off, although I do get girls every now and then, well, I'm such and such astrological sign, so I don't know if I'm compatible with an Aries, to which I have a line for that. It's like, oh, no one said anything about being compatible long term, but for the short term, anything with a fire sign is going to be just that, absolutely fire, and that line works for me well. So in this instance, I've left the astrological sign and the educational attainment on there, but for most guys, you'd be better off keeping this information pretty bare. And then you can see once more, these are all kind of beach, candid type photos. I was mixing a cocktail. I don't remember what it was here. Watch face out, good natural pose. This is another one. It was a candid photo. I didn't realize I had a photo being taken of me. I knew that there was a photographer and he was setting up or doing whatever, but I wasn't much paying attention. I was just entertaining my friends here. Got a nice, candid, natural smile end shot. Same here. I was fishing, just hanging out on the front of a boat, and then a buddy snapped a picture. And then this one too, this is per request of my actual market or demographic, in this case, girls on dating apps in my local market. Initially, I had a bunch of photos where my sunglasses were on. So girls said, hey, I want to actually see your eyes. And I actually do have nice, bright green eyes. I have deep eye sockets, so you can't really see them here, but girls asked to see my eyes. And then I actually got comments saying that I have freckles. I didn't even realize I have freckles. They kind of come and go throughout the year, but I've gotten compliments on this last photo as well, when girls make it that far through your stack. But normally what they do, again, is they look at this first photo here and then decide what to do from that point. So here's the profile. Let's assume she swipes right. That is absolutely fine. And once more, guys, you want to make sure that you fill out this profile minimally. And if you need help with that, that's something I actually specialize in. I am a digital marketer by trade. I consult with huge companies all over the globe. So for me, just as a virtue or byproduct of what I do day to day for my profession, is how this whole dating process for digitally sourced leads came together. So this is really top of the funnel activity, guys. This is something you definitely do have to get down. Then next, it follows a logical progression. Then we go to opening sequences. Then you want to get her off the app as quickly as possible. You send her either to Instagram for lead nurture or WhatsApp, SMS, texting for logistics. From there, there's a specific way to set the logistics. There's a confirmation sequence, day of the date sequence. If you want to get her home on the day of the date, there's follow-up sequences for that. However, if you're looking for more long-term, or if you want to be a bit more selective on your end, then we'll actually set up the sequences. But you'll notice when you work with me, for those guys that are more kind of process-driven, more corporate, more business, more engineer type focus, that I do everything based on system structures and sequences. So So once you get it down pat, I'll work with you one-on-one to make sure they're custom tailored to what your goals are. This funnel here is optimized, what I call my F-boy funnel. It's to get girls straight to the house. It works very, very well for those purposes. But I've worked with guys that are more marriage-minded. They don't want to be sleeping with a bunch of girls on first dates. They want to take it slow. They want to really vet her and get to know her. And they have different ideal sequences or top level parent sequences because they have different overarching goals for myself. So then we'll remap out that blueprint for your specific use case, and then we'll go into each child sequence there as well and optimize for that. So you'll still have to learn how to open, you'll still have to learn how to text, you'll still have to run logistics, you still have to execute the day of date. For retention, you'll still have to work on those sequences. However, the way in which they're structured, some of the copy, the verbiage, and the way we move leads through these sequences or down the funnel, to use marketing speak, that will change based on your scenario. And then couple more things here, guys. You'll notice that I am using a desktop version. A lot of guys don't know this. Once you get your dating apps optimized, I prefer to use a desktop version because, again, speaking of sequences, my opener is just copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. I'll drop more videos going into the nitty gritty of this type of stuff. So there are certain best practices of when to use the app or how to use the app. So that will all likely govern the way in which you go about your dating app strategies and your follow-up sequences as well. So that being said, guys, be sure to click on that link down below if you want to take this a step further, work with me one-on-one. Really, the biggest things you want to focus on is minimal metadata, high quality photos. If that's something you can't do or something you haven't considered doing, or you don't have high quality photos, once more, you can click on that link below, book a call with myself directly. We have people that can set that up for you, or I can teach you how to do it. It's relatively easy. This first photo right here is a couple years old. It's from an iPhone camera. Everything within app in terms of contrast and sharpness, a little coloring I touched up myself. There's no AI filters, no third-party apps. It's super simple. You can do it all from your cell phone. Click on that link below to get more information to work one-on-one, and I shall see you on the next one.